Hi, Helen. Good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so excited for today.
I'm super looking forward to hearing what you've got to say about sleep, the lack of or too much of. Who seriously gets too much sleep besides kids? I mean,
You'd
like
be
adults.
surprised, Julie. You'd be surprised.
Okay. Well, just pardon me if I'm yawning throughout your session. It's not because of that I'm not interested. It's just I'm a wee bit tired. I had a busy weekend.
How funny.
How
funny. Maybe, yes, you can learn what happened with your sleep cycle throughout this session today.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So thank you so much for joining us again and sharing your knowledge with our challenges. I'm sure they will learn something out of it. We do have a couple of questions, so we will go through them at the end, I'm sure.
Right. All right. So let's get into it. I am mindful of our time cap, and I just want to give you guys as much value as possible. Today, we're talking about the importance of sleep and how it affects weight loss. So the theme today is about how sleep can affect your weight loss. And the science is out, the data is out. This is happening to everybody. It's just so important to take your sleep seriously. So I thought, let's begin with what happens when you sleep. Weight maintenance happens when you sleep well. So in that 7 to 9 hour mark is usually ideal for most people. There is different body types, which we can go through later with how much sleep you should be having, but it is definitely between the 7 to 9 hour mark. And the reason that weight is maintained in your sleep or weight loss gets affected in your sleep is because when you sleep, our hunger hormones are directly affected at the 7 hour mark. So how many hours sleep do you get, Julie?
Between 6 and 7.
Yeah, so just getting to that 7 hour mark helps to do some amazing things in the body.
Yeah.
The sleep affects your weight by controlling your hunger hormones. And this is what I really want you to wrap your head around today, because these hormones include ghrelin, which increases your appetite. And it also has the hormone leptin, which increases the feeling of feeling full. Okay, so you're not hungry.
Yeah.
So during sleep, the ghrelin decreases, right? So your appetite goes down because you're not doing much movement. And lack of sleep, right? If you have a lack of sleep, Julie, you might experience this today. It actually elevates your ghrelin levels, which is it increases your appetite. And what it also does when you have a lack of sleep, it decreases your leptin levels.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't really feel satisfied or full. You can feel hangry, unsatisfied. And this imbalance actually makes you hungrier, which may increase the risk of eating or drinking more calories than you normally would and potentially gaining weight. So research shows that sleep deprivation, even as few as 5 consecutive days in a week of short sleep, can be associated with a lot of risks, including things like obesity, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome, because we're stuffing up the rhythm inside.
Okay.
That's how important sleep is and what actually happens when we sleep.
I've never heard of metabolic syndrome.
So it's when we stuff up our metabolic rate. So the calories in, the energy in that we should be taking versus the calories out when it comes to normal movement. So we can stuff that up. We all have a resting metabolic rate. And let's just say mine is 1,800 calories a day. Yeah, I can stuff that up to go higher or lower, and then we're eating out of balance.
Yeah, okay.
We've stuffed up our rate.
Yeah.
So interesting fact, the Biggest Loser study, remember that show, The Biggest Loser? So they stuffed up their metabolic rate because they were given such little calories to eat, 900 to 1100 calories
No
a
way.
day.
Wow.
When they were exerting about triple that. And
Yeah.
so what happened is their metabolic rate stuffed up. So lots of them went on to put on 3 times the amount of weight after the show finished.
That's terrible.
And I think that's why the show ended, because of how dangerous it was and how badly it affected people's lives.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so it's very hard to get your metabolic rate back to normal once it's stuffed up. You have to start very slowly.
Okay.
So let's talk about studies, because I love studies. And I have links to studies for you guys. If anyone wants them, I'll provide the links in the comments as well.
Thank you.
So there's evident dysregulation of the neuroendocrine appetite control system during sleep deprivation. What does that mean? Just what we said before. Okay, we can stuff things up if we don't sleep right. We can stuff things up as quickly as 5 nights in a row of less than 7 hours of sleep. As I mentioned before, it alters the metabolic rate, which can have a negative impact on weight maintenance or even weight loss. There's lots of symptoms that you can experience with sleep deprivation, not just on weight loss. And some of the things here on the left, you can see, like irritability, memory loss. You're not as sharp, cognitive impairment because you haven't had a proper rest. You can get aches and tremors and increase your heart rate. You can get risks of diseases as well with a lack of sleep, good sleep and sleep quality. So the study here is quite easy to read. I'll put it in here for you if you love to know the science behind all of this, because they actually used 1,000 people to perform this study. It was called Sleep Deprivation, Effects on Weight Loss and Weight Loss Maintenance. Yeah. And there's proof in the pudding that, unfortunately, if we don't sleep well, we don't really do well in more things than just weight loss as well. So how well do you sleep? And are you taking your sleep seriously? Like, you just to think about that for a moment. How many hours of sleep are you getting? And do you take your sleep as seriously as you should be?
What do you mean by that?
Some people don't dismiss the fact that so much happens in our sleep, and they'll stay up and watch an extra hour of TV instead when they're yawning and listening to that trigger that's saying, hey, there's a yawn, it's time to go to sleep. People ignore that so much, and then they stuff up their sleep quality and their sleep cycle. So around after sunset, when you experience your first yawn, that's when you need to go to sleep. And if you go to sleep when you experience your first yawn, you actually get all sleep cycles.
Okay.
All of them. And they're so beautiful. If you start to fight off your yawn, you might miss the first sleep cycle, which is 1.5 hours gone. Yeah. And then you have to go into that next one. And then you're missing different stages in the sleep cycle. So how do we improve your sleep quality? Try to have a regular sleep schedule, because when you have massive swings each day of different times, that can lead to the changes in the metabolic rate and reduce your insulin sensitivity, which is increasing things like diabetes. So try to find a regular sleep schedule, whatever time works for you. Sleep in a dark room. So exposure to artificial light increases the risk of weight gain. And so what I have is a red light reading lamp. So when I sleep, I don't have any blue light. It's just the red light. And so that's all the light that you need, not to stimulate cortisol and any stress response in your body. I also have a link to these red lights. They're the best thing. I take them everywhere with me. If I'm road tripping, holidaying, if I need to go to the toilet at nighttime, I'll put the red light on so that way there's no blue light affecting my brain saying, hey, Helen, it's time to wake up.
Yeah, okay.
So these are really cool. I also have a discount code. They're cheap. I think they're only like $30.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome. So artificial light, we try to get rid of that. Use dim lighting. Try to get red lights into your phone screens if you need to watch your phone or scroll. And eating late. Try to finish eating at least 2 hours before you go to bed, because we don't need food before we sleep. We don't need that extra energy. If you do feel hungry, it's better to have a water-rich food that your body doesn't have to digest, like a fruit or a vegetable. Just because you're going to sleep and you're telling your brain, okay, it's time to shut down, but then you've ingested food, and then your brain's also like, but hold on, what do I do with the food? Do you want me to sleep or do you want me to digest? I can't do both. And so that is amazing for weight loss. If you can eat 2 to 3 hours before bed, you'll wake up having some sort of a fast, which is really important for our body. We don't need to keep stacking food on top of food, on top of food, on top of food in our stomach. It's really good to let food empty out as well from our body. So what else did I want to tell you? Oh, I wanted to tell you to love the skin that you're in, okay? Because deciding if you should attempt to change your body weight, it's a personal decision, and it's best made with the guidance of your doctor to make sure it's a healthy decision for you. And something that I wanted to stress was, don't take all of the health and weight loss information that you see online at face value. Okay, so don't believe everything you see and read. Always do your own research to figure out what's true. And things like PubMed and where I look at studies usually have all the scientific answers. Weight loss is not appropriate for everybody, and it doesn't always mean better health. So just remember that your health is a lifelong journey that includes not only healthy habits like a good sleep quality, but also having a healthy relationship with your body. And if you're considering weight loss, then reach out to Julie, reach out to any of your trainers there, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you along the way, and then dive into like, how much sleep are you getting? Because that might be one of your action steps to take the sleep seriously. And if you have a pen and a paper, I've got some helpful tips here on a good night's sleep. And some things that I love doing is preparing the night before for the next day. So a good sleep tonight happens from the night before. Okay, so if you want a good sleep tomorrow, then you've got to organize it from today. How? We've got to brain dump things out of our head, schedule them into our planners, writing out all of our tasks for tomorrow. And something that I love doing is writing down, what mindset do you want to be in tomorrow?
That's a good plan.
Such a great question to ask yourself. So when I go to sleep and I just think, okay, what mindset do I want to be in tomorrow? Growth, positive, happy, grateful. What do you want? Energetic for tomorrow? Yeah. Because then your brain's like, okay, while she sleeps, this is what she wants for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Writing a self-care hack for the next day, which I love doing, like maybe tomorrow you'll exercise, maybe you'll meditate, maybe you'll go call a friend, maybe you'll hang out with a friend, maybe you'll meet at the gym. So what's your self-care hack? And also brain dumping anything in your mind out. Don't think that you can think yourself out of stress. Don't think that you can think yourself out of overthinking. You can't. You have to actually like get it out of your mind, voice record it, write it out, just get it out somehow. Utilize a night routine by implementing things such as a red lamp, reading lamp before you go to bed, meditation, low light, putting your phone on airplane modes, doing some self-reflection, A warm bath really helps to get you in the zone, or a warm shower. Also a self-massage. I have a link as well that I'll be putting in the group for you of me teaching you how to do a self-massage so that you can put yourself to bed. It's so good. Julie,
yeah, good.
So good. I actually released it when we were in lockdown because we couldn't massage people and people couldn't go get massaged. And also keeping your phone out of the bedroom. So the bedroom should be a sacred space for sleep, or if you're married or have a partner, for making love. That's it. We don't want to sit in the bedroom really affected by blue light and disrupting our sleep pattern. So I would love to answer any questions.
Okay, let me go to the group because there were a couple. Earlier on, we had a question from Wilma. Let me see if I can find it. So Wilma said, I was getting too much sleep prior to the challenge starting, and I was waking up tired and got tired very quickly. Is it possible to get too much sleep, and does too much sleep make you tired?
Yes, totally. So this is what happens. We wake up and we think, oh, I just want 10 more minutes. Oh, I just want 1 more hour. So you'll roll over and then you'll try to have another nap. And then what's happening is you're extending the sleep cycle when your body's like, it's time to wake up. And sometimes you can get a sore back, and you can also start to feel really, really tired. And then you wake up and you've had so much sleep. So anything over the 9.5 hour mark is too much sleep. So anywhere from 7 to 9 hours is great. So anywhere over 9.5 hours is potentially too much for an adult.
Yeah. Children are different, obviously.
Yeah.
Depending where they're at in their life.
Mm.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I hope that answers Wilma's question. Now, there was another one from Jai, and he says or asks, what's your recommended minimum and maximum hours of sleep per night? Well, you said 7 to 8. 7 to 9, I mean. And then also, any sleep and wake times preferable to any other, and why?
Yeah. So according to the Ayurvedic clock, and Ayurveda is something that I'm really passionate about, it's best to wake up before sunrise, and it's best to sleep at sunset, right after sunset. So anytime before 10 p.m. is usually what's recommended. But in Ayurveda, there's a few different body types, and each body type has a slightly different recommendation of sleep, which is really interesting. And it's also important, really, really important, to have that gap of 2 hours before going to bed after eating. Right. This is just so important, because if you're going to eat late, you've got to eat something super light and super easy to digest. Now, there's a few different body types: Pitta, Vata, and Kapha, right, in Ayurveda. And Pitta is these athletic sort of build people, people that usually sweat a lot. They're hot-blooded. They're usually quite fit and active as well. So these people can sleep a little bit later, so around the 11 o'clock mark, and it doesn't really hurt them at all. And these people, because they're quite hot internally, it's good to do things that cool them down at night, like a self-massage or a foot massage, or using essential oils in the bedroom, cooling ones like jasmine. Kapha, which is my sort of body type. So we are more like rounded. We tend to have more inflammation and water in the body. So, that's just us. We also sweat a lot, but people that are Kapha dominant, right, and we tend to put on weight very easy. We can smell food and put on weight. We tend to be heavy sleepers and may tend to oversleep. So if you have excess kapha in the body, which is the energy type in your body, then you have to set an early wake time, okay, and just stick to it. So how we work best is waking up early and exercising early and perspiring to get some of that water element out of our body.
Yeah.
And then Vata, that body type is quite slim, quite dry skin, thin. Think of those sorts of people, petite sort of people. Your body needs more nourishment. So things like a full body massage with oil is really great for your body if you tend to have not much body fat. and Vata people get very stimulated by activity. So if you are more Vata, then it's really important for you not to be stimulated with TV and phones before bedtime, and avoiding exercising right before bed. And again, for you, a peaceful sleep in a dark room is really important, and one that is well ventilated. And again, light candles or essential oils like lavender and chamomile will really help you just to calm down when you sleep.
Fantastic.
You're welcome.
That was really good. I'm sure some of our challenges will get some information out of that. Do you get enough sleep, Helen?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
I'm
that's
usually
good.
in bed around 8:39, 9:30.
Yeah. What about daylight saving? Does that affect people?
So the secret here is just to sleep and wake with the sun, and then your body clock gets reset quite easy. So if you have daylight savings coming up, go watch a sunset or watch a sunrise that week or that day.
Well, we don't in Queensland anyway, so that doesn't matter.
I know, you're so lucky. I hear it all the time. But
I know. Yeah, totally.
I'm in tune with the sun here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Take your time. Have a great day and have a good night's sleep.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, Helen.